Let's head to D.C. now, where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle pushing to gain control of the Senate. A bunch of new polls show both Republicans and Democrats, depending on how you want to read the numbers, got a good shot. Dems holding on to it by the skin of their teeth, or the Republicans getting the majority back. Now, Dr. Miringoff, director of the Marist Institute of Public Opinion, tells us which side might run into some problems. The question is, how are Democrats doing, especially in the U.S. Senate here? When you look at some of the polls, is there a particular race that jumps out at you and could be a bellwether come November?
Well, there's a whole bunch of them that are being hotly contested right now. The Democrats cannot afford to lose 6 seats. That's what the Republicans have to pick up in order to take control of the Senate. 7 places the Democrats are defending seats that Mitt Romney carried, red states, 2 years ago. So the Democrats have to sort of hold their own in places that Barack Obama was not successful in 2 years ago. And there's a lot of other states that the Republicans have been trying to expand the battlefield, places like Colorado, places like North Carolina, Iowa, states that Obama carried, which would make a good year for the Republicans into a great year if that did ultimately happen. So the Democrats have the work cut out for them. You know, they're benefiting by the fact that the Republicans in Congress are very unpopular, but then again, so is Barack Obama. So it's a plague on both sides of the aisle.
There's obviously a lot of theories here. One is you had a lot of tough retirements here. Democrats holding seats in states here that are, in many cases, red states, and without anybody that's going to be a credible candidate to win that, it makes it difficult to near impossible. That said, there's that theory. There's a calendar that more Democrats are up overall this year. And then there's this historical argument that usually in an off year, the party in power doesn't do well. Which one do you attribute mostly why the Democrats are sweating so bad?
Well, I think it's both things. First of all, they have a lot of seats to defend, and then also the turnout in an off-year election is more problematical for the party in power. So the turnout, well, you'll have fewer young people. You'll have fewer people of color than you did 2 years ago when Obama won. So the demography of the electorate is changing, but then it changes differently for a presidential than it does for a midterm election. And then you have the historical pattern to which you allude to, that presidents in their 6th year have a tough time energizing what's left of their base and their enthusiasm and whatever motivation's there. So the only thing Democrats really have going for them right now is the fact that the Republicans in Congress have become very unpopular, matching even below the numbers, worse off than the president is. But then again, the president is the primary figure, and both sides are pointing fingers. It's going to be a brutal 5, 6, 7 weeks between now and Election Day.
You know, we interviewed some folks at the DNC who told me I was nuts when I said it, but in the battleground states for these Democrats, do you think a visit by the president does more harm than good? I know state by state it's different, but overall, do you think they'd say, hey, just send the check, don't show?
Yeah, well, you know, clearly President Obama is not going to go into certain states. And in fact, if you look at Kentucky, where Allison Lundergan Grimes is running against Mitch McConnell, she's actually taking ads as a Democrat, challenging and opposing things of Barack Obama. So she's actually running away from her president of her own party. I'm not sure that's a great strategy. I think you're sort of, even in a red state, you're stuck with Obama. The Republicans will spend a lot of money tying you to Obama, whether you like it or not. So you better come up with a better way of framing your campaign. But there's no doubt Obama's going to be in certain places, and you won't see him in places at these red states where his approval rating right now is in the low 30s. That's sort of textbook 101 in campaign politics. I'm not so sure you can get away with it. They may have to, some of these Democrat candidates may have to figure out positive things that have occurred during the Obama years and highlight those while they also point out differences that they might have with their own president.
To that end here, a couple parlor questions before I let you go. One is, I saw it trending at 53-47 that the Republicans get those 6 seats and take control of the Senate. If you were a betting man, do you think that come election night here, the Republicans regain control of the Senate, or do you think that's a big number 6? Democrats probably still hold it.
Yeah, you know, if the Republicans win, it's more likely to be 51, 52 seats. I'm not looking for any big waves. I think we're looking at potential mini waves here. But I think, you know, right now there's no single issue that's dominating the political agenda, the economy, Obamacare. If anything, it's now the international situation and terrorism. So there's nothing that's really gelled to capture the imagination of the American electorate in terms of what is the dominant issue. I think that's going to happen in the next few weeks, and then we'll have a better sense of it right now. It's just tough for the Democrats to hold their own seat after seat in places that Mitt Romney carried by double digits.
Dr. Lee Miringoff, as always, thank you so much for the time.
Great. My pleasure, Richard. Have a great day.
Sorry.
Andrew, if you're a betting man, same question to him. Did the Dems hold the Senate?
It's that close. It's that close. And I'm going to say, I think the Senate's going to be 50-50, Democratic and Republican. And I think Joe Biden's going to be the
Joe
Democratic.
Biden being the deal breaker.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 50-50. I think you're going to get one surprise, maybe Kansas, depending on how the ballot plays out.
Yeah.
I don't think Kentucky's going to go Democratic, but I think there'll be one take back from the Democrats, and that'll be just enough to hold on.
In Kansas, the Democrat is barely ahead. So, I mean, you know.
I think it's common knowledge that the Republicans are going to.
Common knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's common
Common
knowledge.
knowledge.
I think.
No, you got to go to the TJ Polling Institute. It's a fascinating place. You should hear how the numbers work.
Well,
Where do you get those numbers? Oh, just common
It's
sense.
common knowledge.
So,
Go ahead.
Dominic, I have a question.
Yes.
If this is like the political parlor game,
Okay.
do you think down deep Hillary wants the Dems to lose the Senate? Because let's remember, in 2 years in the general presidential election, it'll also be a whole bunch of other Republicans from the '08 class that are going to be up. Because then the argument or the theory goes, she can always blame, see, Republicans control the House and the Senate, nothing gets done in there. What do you think she wants?
I think that Hillary might prefer your scenario in terms of Republicans controlling the House and the Senate, but Hillary Clinton is an all systems go, no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, she'll run no
Bottom
matter
line.
what. I was
So
just
she's
wondering.
running.
Yeah.
And I will
heard
tell
it
you
first,
guys,
yeah.
Richard, until the day I die, I will tell you that Hillary Clinton started running the day that she had to drop out of the race and concede to Barack Obama. It was at Union, I forgot where, but someplace in Washington, when she said, women have broke one more crack in the ceiling.
Yeah.
She was running then.
I don't think she wants a Republican in the Senate. I think she can run against
Well,
Republicans.
the thinking would be she'd be a wave election. She'd bring a whole bunch of Democrats. The Democrats can have it much easier in 2 years.
Much
The
easier.
narrative,
And much easier
look
in
at the
Senate because
Republicans,
The Senate in 2016, Republicans will be defending all the seats they
That's
won
what I
during the
understand.
Tea
Yep.
Party
The
election
08
in
class,
2010. Hillary, I think, wants a Democratic Senate. I don't know why.
class, yeah.
I mean, there would be less cleanup work for her to do if she's elected president. She's still going to run against Republican obstructionism, whether they got one House of Congress or two.
I guess you're right.
TJ?
TJ's going to like this. When we come back, we're going to get into some New York politics here, Mr. Political Consultant, where the governor is already taking on his challenger, Mr. Astorino, and you got to see some of the ads here. Some people say we've gotten into silly season. You be your own judge.